Reggie's Corner, we're going to solve multi-step equations. So remember that a multi-step equation is an equation that uses one or more property, right? So we're doing more things, multi-step, more than one. Okay, so just as a reminder, there are their opposite operations, right? Addition and subtraction go together, and multiplication and division go together. So to solve this type of equation, we're going to kind of undo until we get the variable by itself. So let's get started. Let's look at example 1. So here's our wall, right? So I want to get this a by itself. So that's the last thing that I'm going to do, right? When it says solve, I want the variable by itself. So I'm going to do the opposite operation, add 6 to both sides, and I have 2a is equal to 10. So it's 2 times a, so again, my opposite operation is divide by 2, and I have a is equal to 5. Now, I'm not going to check all of my answers in this video, but we'll do some. So it means wherever I see an A, I'm going to put a 5, and I'm just going to see if that's true. So 2 times 5 gives me 10, minus 6 equal 4. That looks good. So I know that my answer is correct. Okay. All right, let's look at the next one. So I have a fraction here. I want to get rid of that denominator. If I could get rid of the denominator, then I would not have a fraction. So my denominator is -2, so I'm going to do that so I can cross that off, right? A numerator and denominator, if they're the same, I can simplify. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. So I'm left with n plus 1 is equal to -30. Subtract 1 so that I have n is equal to -31, and there's my answer right there. Okay, the last one I'm going to do letter C. So again, here's my wall. That H, I know that has a fraction, which makes us nervous, but we'll deal with that in just a minute. I just have to get rid of this +3, so I'm going to do the opposite operation. I'm going to subtract. So I get -30 is equal to 2 over 5h. Now, we did this in an earlier video. We're going to do the opposite, right? We're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 2 over 5 is 5 over 2, right? Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other. And again, the reason I do that is because I can simplify one numerator and one denominator. So I'm left with h is equal to, and again, I can kind of simplify here. Remember, this is really over 1. So 2 goes into 30 15 times. Goes into 30 15 times. That was a little messy. I can't forget my negative sign. So 5 times -15 gives me -75. And that's my answer. All right, let's take a look at some word problems. The student council raised 2/5 of the money they needed to cover the cost of the school dance with the bake sale. They raised an additional $150 selling raffle tickets. If the student council raised $630, what's the cost of the dance? So that's what we're looking for. What's the cost of the dance? Write an equation and then solve. All right, so let's kind of go through this again. So far, they have raised $630. Right? That's what they have so far. So what's going on here on the left-hand side? They raise 2/5 of the money, or 2/5 of the cost of the dance, with the bake sale. So this is my bake sale, right? Bake sale. They raised an additional $150 selling the raffle tickets. So far it's $630. What's the total cost of what's the cost of the dance? So again, we're solving for C. So let's see what we have for here first. Again, there's my wall. Subtract 150, and I'm left with 2/5, right? C, 2/5 of the money that they needed for the entire dance, they got through a bake sale. So on the right-hand side, I have 480. Again, I can multiply by the reciprocal. These are bigger numbers, so you can use your calculator. So C is equal to 1,200. So what does that mean? What that means is if I go back and kind of read what the problem says, that's the cost of the dance, right? The cost of the dance is $1,200. Okay, that's it. All right, let's keep moving. A sporting goods store sold 2/3 of its basketball, but 8 were returned. Now the store has 38 basketballs basically in stock. How many were there originally? Okay, and says again, write an equation and solve. So I have 2/3 of the basketball. I'm going to make that B. 2/3 of its basketball, but then 8 were returned. So whatever they sold, we don't know how much were sold, but we know they brought back 8. So they didn't sell like 8, right? They brought it back. And then that equals, they say right now they have in stock, they have $38. Okay, so now again, I'm going to get my wall by itself. I add 8 to both sides. I have 2/3 of the basketball is equal to 46. Again, multiply by the reciprocal. This will simplify. So in the end, the basketball equals 69. That's what B stands for. So the question was, how many were there originally? So the store originally had 69 basketballs. That's it. Okay, let's look at the next problem. Again, it's one of those where we have to fill in the boxes. This time we're using digits 0 to 9, so no negative numbers, at most one time to form an equation where x ends up equaling a not odd number. So this has to be odd. It doesn't even say a specific number. So I don't know. We're just going to have to start playing around with numbers, right? Do something. So I'm going to start by putting a 9 over here. No reason, just picking 9. And we can pick any number, right? Let's pick any number we have. I'm just going to start with a 4. Let's see what happens. So here's my wall. I'm going to bring that 4 to the other side. I have a box, and then x is equal to 5. Well, let's think about what I could do if this is an odd number, right? If x is going to be an odd number. So let's make that x. I'm going to play around down here. I'm going to do the odd number as 3. All right. Is there a number that I'm going to multiply a number times 3 that's going to give me 5? And again, it has to be a digit, right? 0 to 9 can't be a decimal. So that's not going to work. So I don't know. Let me play around with that again. Let's go. We can go higher or lower. It doesn't really matter. Let's go lower. Let's make x is equal to 1. Now, is this going to work? Right? Is there a number times 1 gives me 5? Well, yeah, that's actually going to work. That's going to be a 5 there. So I can make that work. Right? So again, let's just double check. I think I have it right, but I'm not sure. I'm just going to erase all this other where I was like kind of working it out. And let's see if I solve it. I bring 4 to the other side. 5x is equal to 5. And then x is equal to 1. And 1 is an odd number. So I did pretty good with that one, right? I had to guess first, figure it out, and go from there. Okay? Thanks so much for stopping by today. You have a great day.